Hello, everything and everyone, and nothing and no one here. I didn't think I'd be able to do that. I didn't do it as good as I can, but that's alright. I'd like to put the emphasis on the nothing and no one this time. Even more so, as that is what I am. What we all are. But pertaining to just me in particular, I'm nothing, I'm nobody. I don't have any credentials or background or certificates or nothing. Nothing at all. I literally just stumbled upon all this stuff that I'm going to be talking about. I didn't even stumble, it hit me, and I was just minding my own business, living my own life. I wasn't aware of any of the so-called spiritual stuff and all that. It wasn't on my radar, and it's not that I avoided it, I didn't know about it, and if I had heard, I just had no interest. I didn't care. I was too busy living my hectic life. Kind of like everyone else. Go to work, try to make money, pay bills. That's all I did. That's it. So, back on the top, but before I get to what this video is about, I want to say my first 4 videos, I shot those all at one time. I think it's pretty obvious. And I was like extremely exhausted. Didn't have my energy. I had been working a lot. Just got back from a road trip where I didn't get any sleep before the road trip and on the trip, so on and so forth. It's totally out of it. And my Jewish mother told me that I need to look at the camera more, and she actually told me to take the videos down because it's not the me that she knows. She was like, that's not you, that's not the you I know. You seem like you're a dick. Okay, so I got energy today. So I'm trying this again. I'm choosing not to take them down because I think I want to leave that. Imperfection is perfection. That's a video for another day. Alright, so for this one, I'm just going to tell my story of how it came to be, how I know things that I know, whatever. And mind you, I'm not trying to change anyone or make anyone believe or think anything that I have to say. Take whatever I say with a grain vodka. I have no agenda. My guides just won't shut up about me doing these things. I was actually been told to do this months and months before I did the first one. So yeah, and the only reason why I did it that day when I was tired was because I figured if I didn't do it then, I was never going to do it, so I just wanted to get started. Okay, so my story of how, basically, I was just kind of, like I said, just going to work, living my life, focused on just trying to have money and save and start a career and all that stuff that everybody else is focused on. And then it just was like out of nowhere, all of a sudden certain things just started happening to me. And like a lot of people in a lot of their stories, like I was freaking out and trying to figure out if I was crazy or not. But then, you know, it got pointed out to me by my guides and a couple of friends that crazy people don't worry about being crazy and try to think of and do everything they can figure out to make sure they're not crazy. So I guess that's what that is. To be honest, I was hoping I was crazy because then all this stuff that happened could just go away and I don't have to think about it or worry about it or anything anymore, and everything could just go back to normal. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. Anytime I wanted to try to reason, or I had gotten to a point where I was actually able to like push these things out and convince myself that I made them up in my head and they didn't happen or it wasn't real, then something else would happen even more profound, or with some other person there, whether it's someone I knew or didn't know, but some kind of witness, to where basically my guides would be like, how about now? Somebody else is here saying the same thing. Saying what they saw, what you saw, or felt what you felt, so on and so forth, and they're talking to you about it, trying to explain it away now. So it's like I couldn't get away from it. I guess the epitome of my awakening, or the origin, but it really, as a lot of us figure out, it's like a lifelong thing, or maybe, I don't know, I know it's unique to every unique individual. In my case, certain things have happened I realize now, I remember now that it's basically been my whole life, but I never noticed it. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't aware of it. And just, I'd say around spring sometime this year in 2023, around maybe February or April, it hasn't been that long, just crazy things started happening. For example, I was just minding like my own business, doing my routine. I went to bed to go to sleep, to get up to go to work early in the morning, and next thing you know, I woke up at like, I only slept for 3 hours, and that wouldn't seem that odd at first, but to give you some context, I had this thing happen of, there were 3 days in a row where I only slept for around 3 hours. Every time I woke up and looked at the time on my phone to see what time it was in the morning, it was some type of 3 number, what it all added up to. And here's what makes it really significant. On those days, at my work, I met 3 people on each of those days that all were talking about, they weren't all talking, I don't know how to explain it. Somehow we were just talking normal, how the weather, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden we're talking about spiritual stuff and feelings and energy, and all talking about like the feeling this shift or whatever that's like around the whole planet. And certain synchronicities, if you want to call them, were coming up, and we were both getting crazy chills and this, that, and the other, and I had this weird, on the last day, what the craziest part was, when I hit the 8th person, and I wasn't even keeping track, I only figured it out afterward, and they pointed out to me, I have a thing about 3s, and they showed me how I've been doing it my whole life and didn't even realize it, certain things I do that I just do and don't think I do in 3s, and yeah, whatever. But somehow I just had this knowing, I drive around for work, that I was going to get a 9th person. I had wondered how many people it was that was happening, and then it just dropped in my head. They told me, and then they let me know I just felt like there's one more, and I was driving around doing my job, driving Uber, whatever, and I had been told, like, even on one of the other ones, like, the next person, you don't have to worry about like looking for them, or that they're gonna prompt you. They'll let you know somehow. And when this kind of stuff happens to you, and you kind of look up and you're like, really? Yeah, okay. And then you're still thinking, whatever, it's a voice in my head. But I was getting towards the end of my day, and I was like, dude, if this thing's real, I'm about to go home. I'm tired. You guys, whatever this is, keep waking me up. I'm only getting 3 hours of sleep. I can't keep doing this. I'm tired. And I was like, so you say there's one more person? And I'm like, we'll see about that. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going home, and that's it. And then I got a ride, started heading towards it, and I thought, oh, this is it. Then that person canceled. And I went, well, I'm closer to home now, so I'm out of here. That's it. I don't know whatever that was about. Guess it ain't happening, and my brain's trying to ration it away again and do all that. And then next thing you know, a ride pops up. I go to pick up this person, and I didn't think much of it. I'm looking, I'm like seeing if I could feel something, and like it's like I had it, but I don't know, maybe I was like wrestling with it, and I thought, no, it ain't gonna happen, because I was just so not wanting to believe anything. And then a certain word, something sparked in the conversation, and next thing you know, somehow I just blurred out of my mouth, oh, it's you. You're the person that I've been looking for. And then she just kind of like looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, you're the one I've been looking for. And I get all excited, and I'm like, yeah, all right, now I finally know. And what makes it even weirder is she didn't freak out. She kind of just was like, she inquired as to what I meant, but she acted like I just said hello or something. I don't know how to explain it. But we start talking, and I guess basically what it was each of these three people on these 3 days, and there was a couple others kind of in between, but not on the same level. They kind of had me going more for people, my guides that is, who were ready to say what they call like be awake, wake up, where they already were to some extent, and somehow, some way, now I have the ability to be able to just tell who is and who isn't, and where people are at, and so on and so forth. But I was just being given messages to tell all these people, and I would tell them things that I would never tell anybody or talk about or say anything. I'm someone who really respects people's personal space and privacy and this, that, and the other. And I would just get messages or words to tell people, and it was way out of my character. I'm known for like what people think I compliment people all the time, but I don't. I just have this like non-filter thing, and I blurt things out. But they're just observations. I'm never thinking about complimenting anyone. But this was like totally different. I don't know how to explain it. It's really hard to put into words. Especially because it was a little while back now. So maybe I should have listened to my guides and started these videos sooner. So basically, like, I was getting messages for all these people, and this last girl, right when I told her, I said, I don't know what's been going on, but something's going on, and I'm talking about these subjects of this spiritual whatever. I don't know what this stuff is. I don't look into anything. I don't know anything. I never looked. I don't know nothing. I don't even know all the signs of the, what is it, zodiac or whatever, people, Pisces, and I don't even know what they're all called. So I was like, I don't know why this is happening to me. But yeah, basically, I told her I was trying. That's how I figured out how many people it was. I went, yeah, this is the 3rd day, and I've been picking up these people. I'm like, come to think about it, I think it's been 3 people a day. Yeah, it's 3, because then their faces flashed through my head, and I said, so that makes you the 9th person. I don't know what it is about you, but it's probably something special or something. I don't know, there's some significant in that somewhere. And then she points out to me and goes, yeah, right when you were saying that, I was looking at the miles per hour you were going, and it was at 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. And then I went, what? What do you tell? What do you, my miles? And I like look, and she's like, you didn't notice that? And I went, no. You did? And she was like, yeah. And then she just kind of looked at me like, all right. And then she explains to me that she's one of these people who remembers. She said she remembered why she picked her parents, and when she even told her parents when she was a little kid why she picked them and what the reasons were before she got here. So she's already been knowing about all this stuff for a while, and I didn't know anything. So it was just an interesting thing. And yeah, so that had don't worry, this story gets way crazy. All this is gonna sound so made up. Even the people that those 3 a days that I picked up, we were all freaking out and saying like this is the people were literally yelling at me in my car out of excitement and going, "This is crazy. This is like a fucking movie." And I was like, "I know. If I didn't have you here saying this, I'd be like, I'm losing my mind." Ah! Like I was freaking out. Like you don't even know. You got no idea. Huh? Okay, sorry. Cause this is out there, but apparently everyone's throwing all their stories out and people are receiving it and it's resonating with everyone. So that's why it's pushing me to do this now after so long, whatever. Because like again, I didn't wrestle with it anymore. I was upset for other reasons. I'll mention that eventually. But yeah. So that happened, and oh, when I got these messages for these people that just came through me, and I didn't know where they were coming from. For some strange reason, I didn't know what it was then. I may know now. I mean, I know I can know anything I want to know whenever I want to know now, so it's weird. Like now, even with like tarot, if I freaked a tarot reader out by telling her what my reading's gonna be, and I do that all the time, which is weird to go from like just being normal, even though I've never been considered normal my entire life, and I never saw myself as that either. Which, come to find out, my crazy is normal, and I guess what you call spirituality. But anyway, so for some reason, when I'd get these messages for people, I would like overheat, like my body, like I don't know what it was. I would start heating up, but I wouldn't like be like, I don't know. I would just like literally get all sweaty, like everywhere, all here, all around here, all everywhere you don't want to be wet. I got wet, and it's not like it was summer. It's not like my car didn't have air conditioning. The thing that makes it interesting is I was getting burned up with sweat only when I talked to these specific people and said these things that I was saying that I guess they needed to hear, because they all thanked me and told me they loved me and asked me for or gave me hugs and said they can't wait to see me again, and then I said it back, and somehow we just have this weird feeling of we know we're gonna see each other again in the future, with some without exchanging any information whatsoever. But it's just people who are here to do things. People are getting activated left and right, by themselves, their higher selves, whatever, even though I don't see higher, but that's what people commonly refer to it as. I like that term, complete self, that Jeff Mara uses. Still new to all this stuff, but yeah, I tend to say like whole self, true self. I think he even said that too before. But yeah, so I'd get all super sweaty and all that, and I'm a person who really hates being sweaty. I don't like being hot. It's disgusting. I go out of my way to never be in the heat. And oh yeah, the thing that makes it weird is I told you I only got 3 hours of sleep, and I always wake up early anyway to get out at like 5, 6 in the morning to work. But this was happening, and I was getting out to work at like 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So I'm fine picking up 1 person, 2 person, 3 people that are just regular rides, and then all of a sudden I get this other person, and then all of a sudden start feeling this thing talking through me, talking to these people, and then getting all burned up in sweat, but also being aware that the thing talking through me is me at the same time. And I look at the temperature in my car and I'm like, it's 42 degrees. So I'm like, am I dying or something? Like, what's going on? But I kind of like, I knew that wasn't the case. And yeah, so that's like the start of it, is that whole thing. And that's a whole thing. But that was when like I knew something weird was going on or whatever. Mia's. So basically, then after that, more things started happening. Other interesting things happened. Like one of my best friends, we hadn't really spoken to each other in years, like at least 3 years, if not more. Maybe a text here and there, like short, quick. I don't even think we did that because I was like so busy being in like my own situation and my own thing and worrying about my own life. And I'm kind of like a hermit type. It's probably why it's taken me long to get like these videos and things, because I hate attention and I hate cameras. I've been like that since I was born. I've always despised that, and I don't like people looking at me. I absolutely hate it. So this is like difficult for me to do, or at least it would have been, but now I know everything's effortless. Oh, life is effortless, blah blah blah, you know. So this friend and I, we hadn't been speaking to each other, and then when we did, this is after I had already been, say, having these like weird dreams, right? Yeah, I should go into that. I was having these weird dreams where I kept having these dreams where I thought I was like watching myself sleep in my bed and watching myself and my lady sleep. And I was having these dreams that were recurring where no joke, where I'd be I'd be like, and this is legit, dude, like this is how the dream was, where I'm like this, I'm like floating and I'm going, oh, what's going on? And it was like my eyes are closed, but then like I open them and I look and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in bed, and oh yeah, we're sleeping again. Oh no, she got up, like different days of it. Oh, this day, oh, she got up, she's in the living room watching TV. Well, I guess I'm having that dream again where I'm watching myself sleep. So I don't know, I guess I'll just chill up here by the ceiling and just sleep up here then until I get up in the morning, and then I just would do this and go back to sleep and then wake up in the morning. That kept happening to me. And the other thing that kept happening to me was I kept waking up in the middle of the night, and this stuff is kind of over the course of like years, where I would like feel like I was like floating up or something, and I was waking up, and I kept freaking my girlfriend out because I'd wake up going, oh, like reaching at the air and doing that and popping up. And she didn't know what I was doing, but she's like, all right, like back to sleep. And I could tell she was freaked out. But I was so freaked out that I didn't care about her being freaked out. I was just like, I don't know what that was, but I'm going back to sleep, and I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen again. But what I didn't tell her until way later, like recently later, was I kept freaking out because I kept waking up because I was telling myself I have to pull my soul back into my body because it's trying to leave again. And so that's why I was freaking out. And so with the knowledge that I had at the time, I thought they were just weird dreams. But I was like literally popping up like that. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard. Maybe because I'm reliving it now, thinking about it. And then I was having these other ones where like I was like flying, and like I'd be like on my way like back to, like I felt like I was on my way back to my body or something, and I kept saying and to myself, I remember saying like I gotta get back soon, I gotta get back quick soon, because I always freak out, and almost thinking about like I, like he, like my body, but saying like I always freak out every time I do this, so I got to get back and get in there quick before he freaks out and does this stupid thing again. And so like I started kind of remembering all that stuff, and it hit me, and like Aaron Abkey got on my radar. By the way, thank you, Aaron, not just for helping in me waking up, but also for delivering a couple messages for me. Believe it or not, I'll save that for sometime in the future as well. That's an interesting thing, how the consciousness works. Oh man, this is fun. This fun stuff. I'll say the most fun you'll ever have is like remembering how to just be and what reality is, and when you're able to understand that spirituality is reality. So it's funny for those people who like aren't spiritual. I'm not into spiritual stuff. That's funny because you are spiritual. Anyway, yeah, so I had all that happen, and then I had like I guess maybe like 2-3 years ago now at this point, I had looked up like what's it called, like the how to astral project, because I remembered that like what was happening to me in my sleep. And then that's how I found Aaron. And then at that point he had the you can learn how to do it in one day, yeah, blah blah, no joke, it's real. And you know me, like just like he says in the video, me like I'm like yeah, okay. We'll see about that, buddy, because I'm gonna try it out even though I don't believe it. I'm gonna see just so I can go, yeah, I tried that. I tried it for like 2 weeks or a month and nothing happened. This video's garbage. Like I literally I have that all queued up. I'm like, that's the other thing that's funny is being skeptical in the sense of questioning everything. It's only gonna bring you to these things quicker. Because questioning is creative energy. That's how we all got here, actually. It was funny enough. But basically, so I watched that video, and again, I wasn't looking for anything spiritual or anything like that. Like, because after I watched that video, I was like, oh, this guy seems cool, because I had tried it, and then I did it, and it worked. I just had to do it kind of a little... I took some of his notes and then tweaked it a bit for myself. That's one of my other things. I have a way of understanding information and taking basics and being able to not even manipulate, but make things work for me in a way that isn't common, like amongst other people, I guess. It's just something I've done my whole life. Like I could start a job or something, and then once I interact with whatever material long enough, I'll figure out a way to make something like more proficient and this, that, and the other, just because I'm like lazy. So, and then people will be like, whoa, how'd you haven't, I've been here for 15 years. I'm like, I don't know, I just did what you taught me, and then I noticed that I could, and I'm able to do that with all this stuff too. Yeah, so I'd watched like, I tried after like, I got it to work for me, and I was like, that was awesome! And yeah, it was cool. And he's right. Like at first, when you first start doing it, which like the thing that really helps, like anybody else says, like realize that you're already doing it all the time, whether you know it or not. It's just a matter of consciously doing it. You know, the whole intent thing. So you can like remember, like, so once you, because everything here operates off of your perception, same and so on and so forth. I'll explain more stuff in the future. That's the purpose of this channel, is to be like a little guide or something like that. It's one of my jobs. I have a few. That's one. I had tried to watch some of his other stuff, and I stumbled on a video of like Aaron talking about Jesus, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh, I don't know about all that, dude. It was blasphemy, because yeah, the way I was raised, I'm sure you could take a guess. And I was like, oh man, I don't know what this nigga's talking about. But he needs Jesus, and he's talking about Jesus. And it scared me. It freaked me out, right? Fear. And so I was like, oh, 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 oh. Like I wanted to throw my phone away. You know what I mean? And so then, anyway, I just avoided him for like a few years at that point. But then this is the interesting thing, right? But I had stuck with the asshole. I was like, how did he know he was talking about what he was talking about with this stuff? But then he's got this all out of whack, and he's all out there, and it's crazy. He's probably gonna start a cult. You know what I mean? And then this thing with my friend that I hadn't been talking to. Well, lo and behold, a couple years later, in that time, for some reason, he hits me up. And we actually speak on the phone. And I'm a really hard person to get a hold of, by the way. And one of the things like that came up is he starts talking to me, and he tells me, he goes, oh, dude, I don't know how to say this, but like, I've been having these really weird dreams. And then I cut him off and I go, it's not a dream. It's not a dream, dude. Dude, it's not a dream. You're projecting, dude. And he's like, what? But like, he was like, it was like, you could tell it was like weird for him to hear it, but then almost like he knew, like, and you know, you all know your heart it'll tell you. And so then we start talking about it and sharing, and we both had, even crazier is we both had like similar experiences, or if not similar experiences, we were sharing information that we were feeling when we were doing whatever it is that we still weren't even 100% sure that we were doing. And we were both coming to each other and saying the same answers. So he'd start saying something, I'm like, oh, dude, what? That's what I got. And then it was, you know, flip back around, same with him, and so on and so forth. And we still at this point in time had no idea what was going on. None whatsoever. We knew something was happening and it was crazy and cool, but we had no idea that like where it was all gonna leading to today. And now we just walking around in the know and in the flow. We didn't know all that stuff was gonna happen, man. So it's just crazy. And then, oh, fun though, not crazy, actually sane. But saying things are crazy is one of the words I like to use to talk. So that's what I'm gonna speak, and that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, so that thing kind of happened, right? And then like lo and behold, this particular friend now, he like gets visions and all that. I do too. And but so that's something else that happened. And then oh yeah, all right, thank you guys for reminding me. So I was now at the point to where like, it's weird, I wasn't looking for anything, but I was like aware and kind of open of like, you know, which I've always been an open-minded person. But this is like what's so strange. It's like things just like with those people, more and more stuff since that like happened started just coming at me, just and just hit me in the face with like stuff that I'm not even looking for. That's one thing that I noticed with my story, excuse me, that's so different than other people, because it's like other people were like, my life sucked, and so like, you know, that's why I started looking out for spirituality and this, that, and the other and stuff like that. Mine's unique in the sense that like, my life sucked, but I wasn't looking for anything because I didn't care to look for anything. Like I was just like, whatever, that's life, I guess. Like, but I'm gonna turn it around because I'm a determined type. And I was just like, I'm gonna figure out some way. But I wasn't thinking about, I need to go figure some stuff out and help from like whatever. I'd reach out to God and stuff, whatever. But like nothing like whatever, nothing. Like I've always been self-sufficient, self-reliant, so to speak. So it's not like me to go looking. That's what I mean when I have problems in life. My personality type, I just disappear and nobody ever sees me. I'm the type that you won't see me again. I won't answer my phone until I've gotten whatever it is in my life that's not how I want it fixed, to where I get comfortable and then I become social again. Um, but yeah, stuff just started hitting me. All of a sudden, like, people's videos and these, like, things on YouTube and things just, like, random places or people that I'd run into, or even in, like, whether it's people I know or don't know, or, like, even in my family. But I don't want to put anyone's identities out there or anything like that, or anything close to it just yet. But crazy supernatural things were happening, and then information kept happening. And then the weird part too was, like, I'll have an experience first, and things happen to me, and I don't know what it was, but I know that's, like, what just happened, and then after the fact, it'll be a couple days later, then all of a sudden something pops up that explains to me what it was, and I have a name and a title I can put on it. But it's kind of backwards for me. It's other people, like, learn about these things and they strive to try to achieve them or do them or experience them, and then they get it. Me, I literally didn't have time. I'm so busy just, like, pay bills. So my schedule is wake up, go to work, do errands, do chores, and go to sleep, and then go to the repeat process. So yeah, so that's whatever. But so yeah, videos and things were popping up, and I found a bunch of people and things like that, and they were I still, when I was watching them in the beginning, like, I didn't think anything of it. I just sit and took in, like, I listened to the information, and I would just take it in, and a lot of it I didn't get. I was just like, there was things I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, all right. Oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, all right. And then there was a amount that where I was like, I'm not sure about all that. And then there's another amount of stuff where I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I got no clue. I don't understand anything. It kind of sounds like it makes sense, but not to me. I'm not processing. I ain't picking up what you're putting down. Like, I didn't get it at all. And it was like, so it's like a mixture of things. But, like, I wasn't sitting trying to figure them out during my day or nothing like that. I didn't try to do anything. I just was like, the stuff I got, and then I was like, didn't even worry about the rest at all. Like, and then stuff just started happening and kept happening. And I'll say, like, I eventually need to do a video thanking certain key people who put themselves out there, because there's a certain key people that, me discovering them, they helped me in this awakening process, even though I wasn't looking to wake. So, but I'm grateful and thankful. So yeah, I'll do one of those. But basically, like, say for example, I stumbled on like channeling and channelers, and I don't know, I got an open mind, and I've always had an open heart, so I'd watch those when I first found them and laugh, or just like at the ones that are funny, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I could explain that too now, but again, another time. And then, you know, I couldn't help but, like, I'd noticed certain things, I'm like, whoa, that's, like, profoundly true. And then there's other stuff where I'm like, I don't understand how that makes sense. Like, you know, based off everything I know, like, these people, you know what I'm saying? And and it was weird, because in my waking up process, really remembering process, it's like I went from being a spectator who was a skeptical spectator who didn't care, and I just found it interesting, entertainment. Like, I'd watch these things when I'm getting ready for work in the morning because I'm too tired to think about what I want to watch, so I just threw anything on. Like, that's my whole point. I wasn't like, oh, this is my new thing I'm into, nothing like that. And it was like I went from not knowing and not understanding concepts and things that I was hearing being spoken about to all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like I'm doing the same thing that I just mentioned, and I got these videos on and I'm listening while I'm getting ready for work, and it went from me like being like everyone else and having questions to all of a sudden when the interviewer, or if they did a Q&A and they got their list, whatever, the person who's in charge of asking the person who's all spiritual and stuff questions, when they'd ask the questions, the weirdest things started happening. I started knowing, like, I'd be minding my own business, listening to it, and I'd be thinking my own thoughts, just cooking, and then all of a sudden I'd start thinking about something, and this started happening with, like, not just these, but everything I watched. And thank you, Billy Carson, for explaining what was happening to me. I appreciate that. But this thing started happening where I'd be thinking about one thing or just not thinking anything, and then a thought would pop in my head, and then all of a sudden people would say word for word what I just had in my head, and I would even be thinking like, oh, that's weird, I wonder why I'm thinking about that, and then all of a sudden it would happen, and I was like, and like I was freaking out, where I was like, wait, like at first it was just like, oh, that's weird, and then it just kept happening, so I'm like, what's going on? No, give me my phone, rewind that. I didn't hear that. Like, I was like that. And then the next thing was, like I said, it's like I went from being a spectator to like knowing. So say like when they ask like a channeler a question, right? And they're channeling this being of like in the oneness, in the know, that knows every answer to every freaking question, just like this on the fly. This thing started happening to where, and I hadn't watched that many of them yet, but this thing started happening to where I was like, you know, like when you're playing Family Feud or something, like I would guess the answer, and then all of a sudden, whatever that thing is or whatever person's being interviewed that knows this stuff is going to answer, it would be exactly what I guessed. And then it shifted over even more to where I just like knew the answer and I wasn't guessing. And the question would get asked, and I go, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then I go, I'm curious to hear what they have to say. And I'm, meanwhile, I'm thinking, like, why am I even saying that? And then they go and start saying, like, exactly what I just said. And I'm like, what? And so, again, I ran back to my phone and would rewind things, like, over and over again and be like, I didn't just hear that. That didn't happen. What's going on, man? I'm just trying to go to work. What's happening? I'm losing it. Like, right. So, yeah. And, oh man, that whole thing started happening, and it was weird. It's like I went from, like, I started just knowing and understanding these concepts and answers to things and what things all are, and I was wondering, like, I don't know, it's like where am I going with this? So I don't plan, and I'm a planning type, but I know about being spontaneous now, so I'm doing that, you know? Fun. You never know what's gonna happen. So, yeah, it's like I just started knowing stuff, and then like, oh yeah, I would watch like the channeling thing, and then I was like, when I started kind of believing that it actually might be real, because like things were just making sense to me and clicking, and I was like knowing them somehow intuitively. And then what was strange was next thing you know, I'm like going, oh, that's really cool, man. It, now that I'm starting to think that's real, I'm like, I wish I could channel. Well, that's not fair. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and I would see, like, hear about people with these abilities and things. And I'm like, I wish I could do that. And then the way I guess my just brain works, because this is how I've always been, I was like looking at them, and then I'm like, wait a minute. They're a person. They're human. If they can do it, then that means I can do it. And then hearing more about oneness and all that stuff, and I'm like, well, if that's real, then that is me doing it. So I'm already doing it over there. So that means I could do it here. And then I just, again, out of curiosity, I was just like, I wonder if I could. Let me try. And the next thing you know, poof, doing it. And then like other things started happening, like it's funny. I realize now, like, I mean, I knew then, but I didn't think anything of it. But I had been able to, like, communicate with people who are so-called dead, because I had a few instances of it, and I communicated with those persons, like, loved ones, because I felt that person who wasn't so-called here anymore gave me a message. Because one time, one of them literally wouldn't let me sleep. I just was in my bed trying to sleep at night, and someone was just at my bedside just going, you gotta call my mom, you gotta call my mom, you gotta tell her. And I was like, dude, I was like trying to ignore and act like I wasn't hearing what I was hearing. And then I finally, he was bugging me so much, I was like, I'm trying to sleep. What do you want? And then just, same thing. Call my mom, tell her, blah, 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 what happened, talk to her, she wants to know about it. And I was just like, dude, I'm not doing that. I like being invited over to your house. I'm not gonna call and tell her dead kid, no, I want to be invited back. They cook for me. But he wouldn't let up, so I was like, oh, that's it, fine. And I went, fine, you want me to do this, I'll do it. And I said, but only there's gonna be conditions involved, and I'm gonna give you some conditions that I know to let me know that I know that what I think, whatever this is that I'm hearing is legit. Because if these things that I'm gonna give you, this criteria, does not happen, then I'm not doing it. And I'm gonna give you things, specific things, and I mean, like, think big enough things to where all know. Like, I was like told him, and I was like, you and God, whoever, whatever it is, because I know, his family well enough, at least these people. And I was like, certain things that they have to do or not do that I know it's totally out of their character. So when I go to start this process, and that's kind of what I did. And then, so, like, I got on the, and I was like, and that's if I even remember when I wake up in the morning, so good luck with that. And then he just, like, was like, okay, all right. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to sleep. And I just went, I'm losing it, man. Like, it's a matter of time for, like, you know what I mean? And I, like, wake up in the morning or whatever, and regular morning, and then all of a sudden it gets popped back in my head. I went, "Dah! Why'd I have to remember?" And I even tried to be like, I didn't remember. And then you hear, "Yeah, you did, dude. Come on." And I felt like this, like his heart, like, and then I was just like, fine. Ah! I'm telling you, man, I'm not gonna be allowed over there anymore, and I really like hanging out there. Why are you doing this to me? Isn't separation funny? Oh, man. Okay, so I like gave like I remember the rules and everything and all that I like, or things that I said would have to be for me to do it. And so like I start to call or whatever, and like for whatever reason, like they're up, and I'm like, all right, that's already weird. um and then I had done my little testing of the rules to be like, and then I just knew that I gave some good ones that there's no way, no force is going to be able to make happen, because this isn't real and I'm making it all up in my head. And then just write down the checklist, everything that I thought was going to be the thing. Like, one of the rules was for them to do certain things that I told them to do without even questioning it one time. And these are very questiony people. And they just shut up and went, huh? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. And I'm just like on the phone like, come on, dude. Ask me what I'm doing and why I'm talking this. To ask me something. I don't want to do this. And they did it all. And so I'm just like, I'm on the phone, and it got to that point to where now I gotta talk to this guy's mother, and I had to ask like it to be handed to her, and I'm on the phone, and I'm like, at that moment when I realized like this is going down, I was like totally just like, it was like my Dave Chappelle moment. Fuck. I didn't want to do it, and so I did, and I start saying like, I don't know how to tell you this, so I'm just gonna tell you this. And I start speaking, and I'm waiting to get cussed out and all this stuff, and like having to tell my friends, like her kid, like, sorry, dude, I don't know, something came to me in my sleep. I'm going crazy, and now I can't come over your house anymore. And I didn't want to do it, but no. As of all these messages I get, when I'm expecting someone to punch me in the face or cuss me out, instead it's like the exact opposite. People start thanking me and telling me they love me, and they're like, I don't know, I'm amazing, or I got a gift or some crap. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on, and I don't even believe in any of this stuff. And it's not even like a belief or non-belief. I was just like, because I had something prior before it happened, but like I never thought about it, and so, and I didn't, I was just like most people here, where I just believed that I didn't know anything, and I don't know, like I had seen stuff, but I was like, I'm skeptical, so it was like whatever, and I don't know, didn't give my attention. But yeah, so that's the thing, and that happened somewhere else again with like same friend in that family, where like the one who was alive, and we were out just getting food, man, and just waiting in line outside for our food, or outside the line waiting for the food, and then some lady starts talking to me, and it was just like kind of like this little banter where it's like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, all right, now we go back to facing the direction you're facing, and then oh yeah, blah blah, oh yeah, blah, and then she compliments something, I had like speakers that I was wearing playing music, and she gives me a compliment on them, and I had noticed already earlier like her jewelry that she had, and I was like, I had wanted to compliment that, and I went, this is the perfect opportunity. She gave me a compliment, I'm just gonna spit that out, and then she'll probably say thank you or whatever, and then I'm gonna turn back around and hopefully conversation done, because I just want to get my food and get out of here. and then so I go to turn to say like, oh, I like your bracelets and your anklets and your necklace and how you got them all matched up, and I like the way you do that, like your arrangements you got going on there. And I take a breath to say that as I'm turning towards her, and then all of a sudden like my hand lifts up, and I start like scratching my head, and I'm like, something about a piece of jewelry, and like saying this out loud in front of her and my friend. My friend had gotten the food at this point, and she's looking at me like, here he goes talking to people again. I never get to hang out with him because he's always talking to somebody who's random when we meet, or that like random when we go out. And so it was like, that's why I didn't want to talk to anybody, because I was trying not to be rude, because that always happens to us when I go hang out with that friend. And then like I'm like, something about a piece of jewelry or whatever, and I'm just kind of like looking off like this, and then this lady is like, yeah, go on. And I'm like what people don't realize is, like, at least for me anyway, well, yeah, I'd like to think for people who could do this, like, when you're doing this, you can talk to people, like, you'll be talking, but you're having a whole other fucking thing happen here, like a whole conversation. You could do that, which is crazy. And like, no joke, I'm like, piece of, and I already knew, I had like heard it. I was like, the ring, I had heard that it and then I was like, because I'm so skeptical that I didn't want to just flat out say it, but I knew this lady was looking at me, and I was like thinking, why is she leaning in and looking at me like that? What am I saying? Why am I saying that? I just want to compliment, like, what's happening? And then I'm like, something about a brother or father, and then she's like, yeah, well, what is it? And then I was so frustrated, and I saw my friend was frustrated, because she's like, I got like the look like, you're doing it again, and the food's gonna get cold, and I'm paying for the food. And I was like, I tell this lady, I go, look, lady, you tell me, all right? I don't have time for this. And I go, what is it, right? And she's like, it's my father, my dad, and I'm wearing on my necklace his ring, and there's like this big man ring, like gold ring, nice though, tasteful, not the ugly ones. And I was like, so for me, I'm talking to her, and we're having this conversation where I'm just talking like just normal, but on the inside, there's a whole other conversation in my head going, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm freaking out, dude. This happens a lot. I'm always freaking out about things, in a sense, while I'm communicating with someone here. It's so weird. I wish somebody needs to make like a cartoon or some kind of show like that, because it's hilarious. Kind of like the flight attendant in a sense. Kind of like that, now that I think about it. But yeah, so then I just go like, the first thing I heard him say, and I'm like, oh, well, he loves you, or whatever. And then she's like, of course. And I'm just thinking, like, in my head, I'm like, lady, you're the one who started leaning in. I don't even know what's going on here. And you were looking like you knew something, or I don't know what's happening. And then I'm just like thinking, like, okay, whatever, she wants more, she'll like try to give her more. I don't know what's like, I know what's happening, but I don't know why. And then I know why, but like, this is the weird part about knowing stuff. At this point, by the way, when this particular incident happened, I already did all the I am, all that stuff. I had that down. That didn't take long at all. It's a lot quicker than you might think. You could like, it's easy, effortless, I would say. And anyway, so then like I start telling like this lady's father who's talking to me, like, dude, she said, of course, so you gotta give me something more than that. So like, you know, and I don't even really care as much of whether she thinks it's real. I'm like, so I know it's real. and so he starts telling me other stuff, and then I like go to like, and I'm like, dude, and mind you, well, I'm saying this out loud to him, like, hey, give me something else. So she's hearing me say this, and she's just standing there holding his ring, waiting, looking, and I'm like, dude, give me something else, because it's not specific enough, you know? And then he's saying more stuff, and I'm like, no. And then she's like leaning in more and more, and I'm like, all that, none of that. She's just gonna go, of course, again, like, you know what I mean? And so she's just like, and then my friend's just looking like, what the hell? and then I finally, I'm like, and then I say out loud, because I hear him, he's like saying like, I need to focus, like whatever, and I'm like, and I'm going, relax, focus, and I'm like, nah, man, it's not working, I can't do it, whatever it is you want me to do, tell me to focus, I can't focus, and I'm like having this conversation right in front of her, and I'm like, we need to find a happy medium here, because my food's hot, my friend's hooking me up, I don't want to be rude to her, and again, all out loud, and then I go like this, I go, all right, and I'm talking to him, trying to figure out, and I go, okay, I got it. This sweet lady's still waiting, and then I just go, no, like basically to him, get out of here, and then I look at her and I go, all right, whatever it is that when you think about him or think you get from him, when you feel like he's there with you or he's giving you advice or whatever, or you just get certain feelings when you think about where he is and all that stuff, I go, whatever that feeling is that you get that's like in your heart, that you feel like you just know, it's like whatever, it's true, I go, anything you feel, anything you felt pertaining to him, it's all true, it's all real. And then she goes, oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Yo, you're awesome. Oh, you got a real gift. And then I'm like, yeah, so do you. And she's like, no, I don't. I think there's special people you're special and this. And I'm like, yeah, that right there, what you just said, that's why you can't do it. And then she was like, all right, like she kind of like took a little something. And the funny thing is, for me, is I was thinking her reaction was going to be, because I know my reaction, if I recognize all of a sudden and thought, oh, maybe there's a medium or whatever, someone right here in front of me, and I'm gonna get a reading, especially if you've seen him on TV. I literally thought this lady was gonna be like, you're an asshole, dude. You suck. That's a gif. I thought whatever I said, since I didn't give anything of like any substantial, like, to be like, oh, and you just got a new car, huh? Like, he knows about the engagement. But she was happy, and I was shocked. But I just wasn't able to show it because I was trying to spend time with my friend, and that was it. But, like, yeah, so it's just been, like, a bunch of things like that. I just have had a whole plethora of things that cannot be explained with the understanding that we've all been programmed, or reprogrammed, I should say, and taught to have here. To add on and make it even crazier, check this out. I'm trying to save the good stuff for last, you know? I really appreciate, you know, I like to have my favorite stuff last. It's just a personality thing. So let's see. Where should I? Which one should I do? There's a few, man. Because once I put it this way, I got things really quickly, and once I got them, I just I had a decent amount of time of just playing with all these things, like a little kid. Here's one note: like, when it comes to your gifts and things in life, whatever you know of now, and then mind you, everybody can do all this stuff. And the note that I've gotten is, what good are your gifts if you don't open them up and play with them? And so I did. But I didn't have to be told that. I did first, and then I heard that, and I was like, oh, that's really profound. Yeah, I should start saying that. so like, I kind of had figured out, like, how to, like, you know, astral travel, whatever, OBE, out of body experience. I figured out how to get out very easily, like legit, So, for example, this is what I mean about weird stuff starting happening. Like, I figured out how to do it a super simple way where I could just do it like that if I want to. And also, you don't have to be asleep in order to do that. You could do it while you're awake. Do it all the time. Not lately as much. I just haven't been into. So that's how I am. I indulge in something and then I'm like, I'll put it back. I'll come back to it when I get to it. Meh, you know. But yeah. So my whole point is now I watch people's videos and it happens so rapid, like so fast, where I switched from being someone who had questions, just like, I wonder what they'd say about this thing, to like, I started looking and going, and let's see what they say. I don't know whether it's true or not. What'd you say? Nope, wrong, not it. So it's weird how that's happened. I've had that explained to me too. Why I and like a few of my friends are like the way we are, because that's the other creepy thing, is it happened with myself and two of my friends all around the same exact time while we were all the same exact age. So that's 3. And I was like, what's with these 3s, man? But now I know. But so all right, yeah. I'll go there. I'll go with that one. So the out of body experience thing, like I said, I figured out how to do it and do it like super easy, like quick. Like I had like a few days of 3 days actually of feeling like my connection was like super strong or something. Like, I don't know. I know it's always like that, but I was just feeling it. And I went, I should try that thing that I did before. The astral thing. Let's try that out. I went, if I could ever, I just had this inkling on the second day and the third day. And the third day is when I went home and tried it. And I had this inkling, like, if there was ever a time where I'd be able to just go home and just do this, like, at will, it would be today. Like, and I felt that yesterday, but I didn't do it. I got like preoccupied and I went, today's the day. Let's go test this thing out. Let's have some fun. Let's see what we can do or what we can't do. And so I went home and I laid down and I just applied what my angel friends had been telling me. And I'm not even joking. It sounds so fake. Sounds so made up. I wouldn't believe a word I'm saying. I'm like, this dude's crazy. so I laid down and look, I'll tell you what I was doing. I was just feeling what I was doing. I had been like basically going around putting a massive amount of love that day, just wishing well for every person that I saw, and even the ones that I couldn't see, the ones that I could just feel, which like everyone. But yeah, so I was just doing that, and like, just for example, seeing someone walking and seeing them like I don't know, getting home and getting a bunch of money, or seeing someone who has like trouble walking, and then somehow it's like I could see them walking without any limp or whatever, like, because I know there's nothing wrong with anyone. I know there's no such thing as right or wrong. Concepts that I'll have to explain, but yeah, that's judgment, basically. Can't have judgment in love. So I was doing that and a bunch of other stuff. And then not drugs. I'm cursed with a drug face, and I'm the only one out of all my friends that doesn't do drugs. Let me get that out of the way, because I don't know why I didn't say that sooner. I got this face and this voice and these mannerisms that, like, apparently make people think I'm like a super stoner pothead. But I actually am like, I've only ever strictly been like a drinker, and I like didn't I don't even take like Tylenol or Advil and things like that. Apparently God made me naturally stoned enough, I guess. So anyway, which is all right. Back on topic. So I went to lay down. You're like, get on with it. But so I went to lay down when I got home, and I laid down, and I said, I just was like, did a little bit of like just some deep breaths and whatnot, and then I just was like kind of like literally feeling love, basically feeling what those people feel when they have like near-death experiences, about the whole love around them and all that, and like orgasmic and all that, which, mind you, you don't have to die or go there to do that. That's there is here is there. You could feel all that now, and that's what I was doing. So I just acknowledged that everything is positive love and light, and I was just saying that to myself, and saying that in my head, and saying I am positive, I am light, I am love. And then I think I had even asked like a couple angels for help, and I was like, hey, can you, I'm gonna try this right now, can you guys help me out with this? And they were like, yeah, and I was like, oh, cool, thanks, well, I'm gonna go try it. And so I was saying that, right? And then I was getting like close, and I feel myself and so on and so forth, but I still kind of wasn't quite getting there. And I had just been saying that over and over again in my mind. And it was funny because I heard their voice, right? And it was a particular archangel. Oh man. And I heard my name while I was laying there going, I am positive, I am love, I am light, right? And I hear my name, and I hear Ed, and I'm like, and I said it again, like my little mantra, and then I heard it, I was like, what, yeah, okay, I'm hearing you, and they're like, yeah, you heard me the first time, right? And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, dude, we get it. They're like, all right, okay, we got it, you got it, you don't have to keep saying it like that. They were like, stop telling yourself that you are what you already know you are, and we already know you are, and we know, and we know you know. They're like, just, you're good, you got it, you got it. It's the thing you did, convincing yourselves and all that, you got it. You did other stuff already that nobody can do, so you could do this. and then I was like, and then they went, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, and they went, yeah, just clear your mind and just focus on that feeling of love in your heart, and do what you were doing, feel it all around you in the room and all that. And I was like, oh, all right. Of course I'm not talking with my mouth. And then I was like, okay, so I'm like, start over. And then I just did that, and then laid my head back down, closed my eyes again, and I went, clear my mind, easy. So I cleared it and just felt that feeling, because that feeling is a good feeling. It's really easy to focus on. I would say effortless. It's really just letting go. It's so funny. Everyone's worried about controlling their life and all that. It's so funny, because what you don't realize, everyone's so afraid to let go. You don't realize letting go is embracing. Letting go of the thought that you have to control is embracing the fact that you're already in control without having to do anything. So I did that, and within about 30 to 40 seconds, next thing you know, it just popped right out and went through my ceiling and saw my whole living room on the way, and it looked exactly like my living room, just with like, it was like if you had put like a filter or something, like a colored filter. It was kind of like maybe like blue green or whatever. Sometimes it kind of like changes. Well, when I went through the ceiling, I didn't do like what other people talk about, like go look at people here and all that. Most of the times when I choose to travel, my personality, I've been here long enough. I'm not doing this so I can experience and go look at crap I already see every day. I it's like it was like somehow I like went through the ceiling, and when I went through, I went somewhere else. And so that's like another dimension. And that's what I do. And that's quite fun. Uh but yeah, and just focused on love. Um I guess I need to make a video explaining how the easiest way to do that technique, um, to be able to understand it, like so you can personalize it for yourselves. It's pretty fun, and it's like, it's, dude, more things are simple in life than not. I even, with separation, that's where the complication comes into play. So that's a thing. But yeah, so I travel, I go talk to things, people, this, that, and the other, ask questions. Now the problem is, most of the time with where I'm at now is like I don't have any questions, because anytime I think of a question, I answer it myself. And then even if I get the answer from something else, when you're at this point, you know that that is yourself answering. So it's like you don't see a difference. But yeah, I don't know, this thing's getting kind of long, so maybe I'll just leave it there and like do like a part. Yeah, because the follow-up to this. Oh yeah, we're gonna end it there, because the follow-up to this, now that I'm remembering, Mia buzzed it. Let's just say it's out there, and it's really crazy and really cool at the same time. And I gotta pee. So, yeah, I was planning on doing like 3 videos, but now this one's going on so long. That's it, man. I got shows to watch, son. So, till then, yeah, wishing everybody love and all that. Know that life isn't meant to be hard, it's effortless. Just as love is effortless, the two are one of the same. Yeah. I got a pee so bad I can't even focus anymore. So I'll explain all this other stuff and eventually answer questions and all that if anybody has them. For now, to be continued.